Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Game Week 3 League 1 score predictions. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 140 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts down in the comment section down below. How do you think your team will get on this game week? Now, last week I actually did quite well. I didn't get a single score right, but I got 8 accurate results. Only 4 of the games I didn't get correct, so I'm really happy with how last week turned out. Let's see how I get on this week. We'll start out firstly then with the Saturday early kickoffs. Firstly, we'll go to Burton Albion versus Port Vale. Now, this one for me, I think is going to finish as a draw. I'm going to go 1-1 in this one. Burton obviously got off to a mixed start to the campaign with a win and a loss, but they're currently sat in the top half. As for Port Vale, they're down in 17th with a loss and a draw in their opening 2 matches, but you could argue they did deserve all, well, you can't argue they deserve the 3 points, but you could argue that they should have had the 3 points with that disallowed goal, which should have probably been given against Cardiff. But I think both sides are pretty decent. They might end up cancelling each other out, so I'm going to back a score draw, 1-1 in that one. The other Saturday early kickoff then is between Exeter City and Mansfield Town. A pretty long journey to go for an early kickoff on a Saturday for the Stags fans, who obviously beat Chesterfield in midweek. I think is it Nottinghamshire versus Derbyshire derby, and obviously Mansfield came out on top. Now for me, I think this one is going to finish as a 2-2 draw. Exeter obviously were battered on the opening day away at Doncaster despite only losing 1-0, but did very well in their most recent match, battering Blackpool 4-1 at home. As for Mansfield, it's back-to-back league defeats for them, but I think this will finish in a 2-2 draw. I feel like there's going to be goals in this one. Both sides can be got at defensively, but I've both proved that they can also score goals as well, so I'm going 2-2 in the other early kickoff. Barnsley FC versus Bolton Wanderers. I see a lot of goals in this game. I'm going with a high scoring 6-goal thriller. I'm going 3-3 in this one. Barnsley, they score a lot of goals. I also see them conceding a lot this season, and Bolton, they have conceded a couple in their opening few matches, including the cup competitions and all that sort of stuff, but I expect there to be a lot of goals in this one, so I am going 3-3. Obviously Barnsley currently sat second in the table, winning their opening 2 matches. A dramatic comeback against Burton in the last one. They obviously beat Plymouth with 10 men on the opening day as well. As for Bolton, they've obviously had a mixed start, lost away at Stockport and won at home to Plymouth as well. So I think there'll be a lot of goals in that one. I'm going with a 3-3 draw. Blackpool FC versus Huddersfield Town. Before a ball was kicked, I think a lot of people would have had this down as a promotion 6-pointer, but Blackpool have obviously had a nightmare start to the campaign, and for that reason, I'm going to go with a 4-0 away win to Huddersfield. Blackpool, they've been awful. They conceded 7 goals so far. Bailey Peacock-Farrell has looked absolutely garbage in between the sticks. They've conceded 4 against Exeter, who were battered by a newly promoted side just the week before. As for Huddersfield, they're obviously sat top of the table. They haven't conceded a single goal yet. There's only them and Luton who are yet to concede a goal. They've had a brilliant start to the season. They score goals, got some great firepower in that squad. Defensively, looking very solid, so I'm backing them for a 4-0 away win in the seaside. On the seaside, near the sea, isn't it? My team Bradford City host recently relegated Luton Town, and I'm feeling confident-ish because we're at home, and anytime that we're at home, I'll back us to beat anybody in this division. I say that, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in this one. I don't want to be too overconfident because Luton haven't conceded a goal yet. They're sat 4th in the table. They've won their opening 2 matches, but I wouldn't say they've majorly impressed, and it has only, with all due respect, been at home to Wimbledon and away to Peterborough. I think we're certainly going to give them the toughest test so far. Went away to Blackburn in midweek and beat them and had chances. We could have scored a couple more in that one. We beat Wycombe on the opening day. We should have beat Northampton as well. We have had a really good start to the season. I wouldn't be against taking a point considering the money that's in their squad. They're only in the Premier League a couple of seasons ago, and yeah, I think I'd be quite happy with a point. As for Luton, I don't think they'd be too pleased with a 1-1 draw. Cardiff City versus Rotherham United. Neither of these sides have massively blown me away so far. I thought Cardiff were pretty poor and probably should have lost against Port Vale, but I'm going to back them for a win in this one. I'm going at 2-1. I've seen there's a few not very happy Rotherham fans in the comments down below. on some of the previous predictions that we've done, but Rotherham for me, especially away from home, I do think will struggle a little bit this season. They've obviously had a win and a loss in their opening 2 matches. Cardiff have had a win and a draw. I don't think there's going to be much quality in here. I'm going to go 2-1 to the home side. I do see Rotherham still scoring, but again, I don't see there being a lot of quality in this game, but Cardiff might just shine through with it. Doncaster Rovers versus Wycombe Wanderers. Now, for me, Doncaster have been on a brilliant run, and they're proving me wrong, as somebody pointed out in the comments. I said I didn't think there was much League One quality in this Doncaster side, but goodness me, Grant McCann has got them flying. Their second string of players went away to Middlesbrough in midweek and won 4-0. They were outstanding. Yes, a couple of their goals were very lucky with big deflections and all that sort of stuff, and the goalkeeper could have maybe done a little bit better on some of the other goals as well, but they've still put 4 in the back of the net away at a relatively decent Championship side. I'm backing Doncaster for a 2-0 win in this one. They're currently sat inside the top 6. Only 6 teams have won at their opening 2 matches. Doncaster are one of them. They've only conceded 1 goal in that time as well. Wycombe, they've had a pretty poor start to the season. Yes, they finally got over the Richard Kone saga, but they have lost their opening 2 matches, obviously away to Bradford and at home to Stockport County. And I think Doncaster, they're not going to be an easy team to be at their place. Wycombe are just outside the relegation zone on goal difference. I know we're only 2 games in, but it's all that we can go off so far. Donny, though, for me, win this game 2-0. Leyton Orient versus Stockport County. Obviously a repeat of last season's playoff semi-finalists. Both obviously coming out losers in the end, with Charlton beating Orient in the final. Stockport fans are probably a little bit aggrieved by one of the decisions in the first leg, clearly an offside for Charlie Kelman's first goal. I think that was the opening goal in the tie, but obviously Orient down in 16th. Stockport, they've won their opening 2 matches, and I think they'll make it 3 from 3 in this one. I'm going 3-1 to the away side. Stockport, they've not played particularly well in either of their matches. I thought that in particular they were pretty poor against Bolton, but they're still grinding out results. They're still getting the wins. They've had a couple of really tough fixtures so far for Stockport, and it's not getting much easier in this one, obviously. Orient finally got their first win of the season at home to 10-man Wigan, but I think in this one they could struggle against the quality in that Stockport squad. Both teams have got a lot of injuries, but I'm backing the away side for a 3-1 win. Lincoln City versus Plymouth Argyle is a pretty difficult one to predict, to be honest. We don't really know where both clubs are at, but I'm going to back the home side. I think Lincoln are going to be strong at home once again at this campaign. They'll want to bounce back after a disappointing defeat away at Wimbledon, so I'm going to back Lincoln for a 2-1 win. Obviously the red card did massively affect their result on Saturday. Plymouth, they've lost their opening 2 matches. They're sat 23rd in the table. They've scored 1 and conceded 5 in their opening 2. They've just not spent enough money. They're bored. They need to be investing some of this money back into the squad, or it's just going to be a season of mid-table mediocrity. They clearly need a proven striker. They can't be relying on Peppel, in my opinion. I think going away to Lincoln, given the results that they've had so far, Plymouth, I don't see it changing in this one, so I'm backing Lincoln for a 2-1 win. Reading FC versus AFC Wimbledon. Again, both of these sides have had a pretty mixed start to the campaign. I think Wimbledon will be pretty happy to pick up their 3 points, the first win of the season so early on. Yes, obviously the red card did massively change that game, as we just did mention, but I think this one might be a little bit too much of an ask for them, and I'm backing Reading for a 2-0 home win. Despite them being sat bottom of the table at the moment and the only side in the division yet to have scored a single goal, I do see it changing in this one. I think they'll come good. I'm pretty sure they got a good result in midweek, didn't they, away at Portsmouth in the Cup, so I think they'll make it back-to-back wins in all competitions and pick up their first league win of the season in this one. But Wimbledon's season's not going to be defined by losing away at Reading, in my opinion. Stevenage FC versus Northampton Town, the Louis Perry derby, I guess you could call it. Obviously, he's since moved on to Cambridge United, I want to say. But I see this being a pretty routine home victory, in all honesty. I think Stevenage will win this one pretty comfortably. I'm going 2-0 again in this one. Stevenage, again, they are one of the 6 sides to have won their opening 2 matches. They've scored 4, conceded 2, obviously picked up the 6 points. As for Northampton, they're down in 18th. They got battered away at Wigan on the opening day. They should have lost at home to Bradford as well in the second match, and I do see it being pretty routine for Stevenage. Obviously, Northampton brought back Terry Taylor on loan during the week, but they need some forwards in there. They can't be relying on Ethan Wheatley and Tom Eaves all season. They struggle to start for a lot of non-league clubs. That is an awful front line, and I don't see them scoring again in this one. I'm backing Stevenage for a 2-0 home win. And finally then, we have Wigan Athletic versus Peterborough United. Wigan have obviously had a pretty mixed start to the campaign. Peterborough pity. Well, I do take a bit of pity on Peterborough because they have been very poor. There's a lack of quality in that squad. I think Wigan, with them being at home, I'm going to back them for a 2 and win. Peterborough obviously down in the relegation zone at the moment. They've only scored 1 from their opening 2 matches. I know they've had not the easiest of fixtures going away to Cardiff and having Luton at home, but we've just not seen that sort of creative spark that you normally have in a Peterborough squad. And you look at the quality that's in there for right now. There's loads of potential in there, but there's a real lack of quality. You've got Archie Collins, who's the only proven player on that side, and he's not going to sign a new contract. He's probably being placed on the transfer list as well. He might even move on to another League One side. With Wigan being at home, I think they got a decent result in midweek as well in the cup. They obviously beat Notts County 1-0 at home. I'm going to back them for another victory in this one. I'm going 2-1 to the home side. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 140 likes as I mentioned at the start of today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. How do you think your team will get on this weekend? I was going to say game week, but yeah, this weekend all the games are being played on the Saturday. Are you travelling to go and watch your team as well? Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you very soon for another one.